Hi everyone and welcome, and in today's video I will be sharing with you some really helpful tips to create a really good daily routine to support special educational needs children and how these resources work to support. If you are unsure what you need to get started, then please stay to the end of this video and I will share my ideas, what works effectively to support me living with ADHD and what works well for my students who also live with all types of different disabilities in my setting. Now, if you are new to my channel, my name is Mitchell. I'm also called Mrs. M. I am a special educational needs teaching assistant who loves to see young children thrive in their learning and become a more confident and independent person for future life skills. Now, I also like to share my personal experiences of living with a disability of ADHD and how I can help others with my knowledge and my real life experiences to support where I can. Let's take a look at why and how a routine is important, followed by some resources that I use that work effectively. Okay, so we're going to run through a few reasons why we need a routine for special educational needs children. Now, we know that it reduces anxiety, promotes independence, improves behaviours. It also helps with time management, supports communication, and encourages our learning. Now, reducing anxiety, we know that many children with special educational needs, such as autism or ADHD or any other type of disability, we know that coping with unexpected changes and transitions really is something that we all have to deal with, and it is just so scary sometimes for some children. So having a clear routine really helps you to know when to expect it, what to expect, and that really does help to reduce anxiety levels or any type of stress level. So that's a good key point. The second one is promotes independence, which I'm a big fan of, and I think it's important that children do learn skills and become more independent in life. So when a child becomes familiar with a routine, they can begin to carry out tasks independently, increasing their confidence and their self-esteem. Great key point, love that one. It also improves behavior. So having a routine helps them to manage their behavior better. It gives them a more structure. It helps it to be more predictable as well for the child, which then is more less likely to feel overwhelmed or to feel frustrated, and to be a bit more focused on their tasks much better. The next one I want to talk about is it helps time management. So having a routine teaches time awareness, which we all need, and helps children to learn to prioritize their tasks, which is a valuable life skill to have in your development. Another one is supporting communication, which we all need to make sure that we have clear routines, guys. Clear routines really help to teach children to understand whether it would be visual, verbal, non-verbal communication, especially for children that might have speech and language delays, is really important. So a clear routine definitely must have. Encouraging learning. When a routine is consistently followed, it becomes easier for children to focus on their learning, and they also learn brilliant new skills, which is great. And it also helps them to be not distracted as much, and helps them in their environment as well to just feel secure and safe and be able to do things that they need to get done. So I think these are really good key points to why we need a routine for special educational needs children. Okay, so we're now going to speak about how to use a routine with special educational needs children. And I've put together this lovely little slide. So I'm going to be reading from this slide, and I've made these little visual symbol pictures to represent what a routine for children would be. Okay, so we're going to start with the visual schedules. So it says create visual schedules using pictures, symbols and written words to help the child understand the sequence of activities. Now, I think this is really important because it particularly helps children who are non-verbal and have limited language skills. So having a maths picture or some symbols of maths really does help the child to understand that's what we're going to be doing now. And if you're using that on a regular basis, they will understand that that is what they are expected to do. Now we're going to move to daily routine, which is keeping things consistent. Now we all know in our everyday life we never always, well, some people do stay consistent, some people don't. Now I'm going to say myself, with having ADHD, I try to stay consistent and I totally sometimes forget about myself. But when I'm working with children and I'm in my setting, I am very good at keeping consistent for the children I work with. So anyway, we're going to go into consistency. The routine should be followed every day to help the child sequence events and feel secure in their environment. Now, it's really important that you keep the consistency for children because, again, they will follow the routine, they'll understand the routine, and before you know it, they become really independent and they know it themselves. They don't even need to use the visuals as much. Okay, time and clock, so time management. For children who are learning time management, using a timer can help them understand how long they have for each activity. This is particularly useful in helping children to transition between tasks. Or it could be that you might be transitioning them from one place to somewhere else as well. So having times and clocks and stuff like that really works well. I use them myself to help me come off of a task sometimes because I can get a bit overwhelmed by being on a task, or it could be too long for me, and then I need to make sure that I help support myself to either remember or to come away for a bit and have a break. So it's good to use timers and clocks to support children whilst using a routine. Next one, we want to talk about clear transitions. So plan for clear transitions between activities and give advice notice to prepare the child. For example, in 5 minutes, we will clean up and move to the next activity. Now, I have to do this in my setting. I have children that absolutely love football and get really upset if I just say to them that they need to line up now. I need to give them at least a 5 minute or a couple of minutes before they're transitioning from one place to the next. So let's just be mindful that we definitely use clear transitioning to help support the children. Okay, flexibility now. So we know while having a routine is important, it's also important to build in flexibility. Sometimes things don't go as planned, and the child should learn to adapt to changes in a supportive environment. So if we are not well planned and well organized and have the resources and the routine in place to help support a child, we can have unwanted behaviors. We can have the child be really upset for the rest of the day. It could cause anxiety and stress levels to rise. So being flexible and showing children to be flexible is quite a good thing to use while encouraging a routine for children with special educational needs. Reinforce positive behaviors. Now, always praise children, always give rewards to children. This allows children to follow the routine and it reinforces positive behaviors, encourages them to continue participating in any type of routine that it is that you might be doing with the child. So always use fabulous words like "you've got this," "you know what you're doing," "you're doing a good job," and all those lovely words that you can use. So just make sure that you reinforce positive behavior. The next one is simplified tasks. So break down tasks into small manageable steps if needed, and ensure that each step is part of a routine. So always think about who it is you're teaching, what type of need they have, how can you adapt, and what could you do to support with that child's age and their needs. So that is what I'm going to say for how to use a routine for special educational needs. So I hope this really does help you. let's move to the next slide. So on this slide now, I'm going to share with you the resources that can really help with communication skills, time management skills, task organisation skills, and much more. So we've got timers and clocks. Now, timers and clocks are really good to use. You can use all types of ways to help children to know when their next task is. My children absolutely love to use stopwatches, so they carry them around, and it encourages them to be involved in their own learning and their own time management skills. So that's a really good one. The next one is a task management tools. So we have independent boxes. We use flashcards as well. I love the independent boxes. I will be able to speak to you about independent boxes in another video. So look out for that one. Social stories. So you can also make sure in a social story that you can personalize it to that child's needs and abilities and what it is that they need to be learning about, or what it is that can help them to change something that they might do, like a behavior or something like that. So they're really good as well. You've got the visual schedules or the written schedules. Now, I absolutely love the written schedule. I love the whiteboard, as you can see with me in that picture with the whiteboard. I did a video on this as well to support sensory short breaks. Please check that video out if you're interested in that. But I think that being flexible, that is one good thing that you can use, because you're well organized, you're well planned, and you can execute whatever it is that you need to do in that moment to help support any anxiety or any stress levels for the child. So definitely get yourself a whiteboard and pen. The next one I want to speak about is other devices that you can use, like anything that you can touch, hear or see, feel. You can definitely use resources like voiceover, so voice recording, so that children can have fun in the process of their learning. My children absolutely love recording their own voice, so that helps support that. Also, we have reward systems, so making sure that children have their free time, make sure they feel independent, recharged, they take a break, and that you can also put visual pictures up to support with stickers. It might be that they might get free sensory break plays. They can have a sensory box. There's loads of different things that you can support with rewards. For parents and teachers support network, we've got the big wide web where we can go online, we can buy all the resources we need, or we can make our own resources. It's up to you. But you can buy many things online. You can buy lots of products. You can buy lots of things to support, like these things on here, like the timers and social stories and different things. So that's another good thing. Sensory tools, it's good to use visual pictures, colours, objects to support zones of regulations. You can also do physical movements, and you can use visual pictures. You can also use the whiteboard as well for that. Now, I'm going to always use whiteboard because I just love whiteboard. I think you should buy a whiteboard, a pocket whiteboard with a whiteboard pen. That is a brilliant resource to use, especially when you are doing a routine. So let's go to the next slide, which is talking about resources that I use to support myself in my own experiences at home and for the children in my setting that work effectively for both, whether it's an adult or a child. So let's just talk about how time is important and patience is important. Now, time, you need to make sure that we have time to have resources ready. We are organized. You give the child time to make sure they adapt to what it is that they need to do, along with many other things when it comes to time. Now, patience is important because not always you get something the first time round. Something might never always go to plan. You might need to change and adapt that. So it might take you time to do that as well. So you have to give yourself time and patience for that too. So that's just a little reminder of time and patience while you're doing any type of routine for children or yourself living with a special educational need. So we've got me on one side, I've got a journal, I have a jar, I also have a, a device, using devices, I have an alarm, and I also have a mindful lady sitting there having some time for themselves. So we're going to speak about my journal first. So with using my journal, it helps me to structure my routine of what it is I'm doing in a day or in a week. So I will open my journal, I will go through my journal, I will start with my emotions for the morning. How did I feel at the beginning of the day, and how did it make me feel by the end of the day? If you would like to me to share with you how my journal looks, then please let me know in my comments, and I'll be happy to give you some advice on what it is that I use and what works well for me. I also use a jar full of new skills that helps me to pick one out once a week, so that I can be learning a new skill while I'm still doing my routine of activities. So I'm still learning new things as I go along. So that's a really good resource I like to use. The good old device at the bottom there is to help me do connections, to connect with other people, to speak about my experiences. So I will do that as well while I'm at home, or while I'm in my school setting, speaking to parents, carers, teachers, specialists, and different types of ways of communicating with people. Now, the alarm is to represent the fact that I always need to set alarms to help myself and to support myself to come away from tasks, to give myself enough time on tasks, and to move on to the next task if I need to. Not always I have to, but most of the time I do, because I can sometimes overwhelm myself with too much. And especially if I get too excited about something, I will stay on a task for a long period of time, which does me no good at all. So I use that as well. And then I have time for myself. So I like to create things. I like to do different types of stuff. So I will use that to either do a hobby, speak to friends, socialize with other people, communication, and many other things. So I don't want to stay too long on myself. But in my school setting, again, lovely whiteboards there, promoting whiteboards around the world with a whiteboard pen. Got to have, love it. Then I make resources as well to support the child. I'll observe the child. I'll plan what it is that I think will work wonders for them, what it is they might need in their breaks, or how I can adapt for their learning as well. So I will do that as well. I love to use timers as well, again, for the children. Again, it depends on the child and which type of timer works well for them. I like to also have a routine where the child can familiar themselves with their emotions throughout the day. So incorporating regular sensory breaks quite often through the day, which I have another video in my channel if you would like to go and have a little look back. It's short sensory breaks to help support children. So please take a look at that. And we also have independent boxes, which are brilliant as well. Resource, it helps them with independence. It helps them to know that if they are stuck and unsure with what to do next, they will go and get their independent box and they will pull out work that they know already and they are feeling very confident with, and they will do that task. So these are some lovely resources that I use in my setting and in my own personal life experiences. So all that's left for me to do is to take this moment to say a big thank you to each and every one of you for clicking on my videos and sticking around. I truly hope the content that I have provided for you today in this video really supports you or your child with your routine. I also would really appreciate it and would love to hear back from you and any tips and advice that I've given to you, so that I can see what worked well and what didn't work so well for you as well. Please don't forget to do all that other lovely stuff. Subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and please share any of my content that other people might benefit from. I can't wait to see you in my next videos, to come out, hang out with me again soon.